we had a woman on the show. She was amazing. It was one of my favorite interviews that we've done since we launched the program. Her name is Lindsey Graham, happened to be. And she walked us through how she wound up at the Capitol on January 6th, how she had been a business owner. She had been building a business in which she owned gyms and hair salons, and she was making it. And she was a new mother. She had a newborn at home, and COVID shut that shit down. She lost everything. All the debt was up and all the revenues were gone, evaporated. And she had the stress and, depression, all the stuff that comes from oftentimes when you have a new baby. And she went in a downward spiral trying to get news and information, real news, and made the mistake of trying CNN, which was a hot mess. And before she knew it, she was on Reddit a lot and became one of those people who really believed that magically on this certain date, Donald Trump was going to be the president again. And got sucked down the rabbit hole, you guys. It can happen. It can happen to normal, successful people who, you may spend your day interacting with and you have no idea, right? So this shit matters. What this lunatic running the thing in Georgia did yesterday matters. What Jack Smith is doing matters. What the Alvin Bragg did, they are hashtag part of the problem. It's not just about partisan politics. It's about us. It's about our kids. It's about our country. It's about our future. It's about as I said, the tether that binds. When nothing else binds, there were certain things we could always count on. The Supreme Court was another one. That's been completely delegitimized by these partisans on the left. What they're doing is reckless.
No question about it. But I think also it extends to our media space. It's just one of the things that we've come to appreciate you and your career, regardless of whether you've been at Fox News or NBC, you're now doing your own thing on this show. It's that people listen. There's millions of people out there listening to this right now who trust Megyn Kelly and her point of view. And you've always had a commitment, regardless of who's offended by it or not, to purvey the information as it's given to you. And that's the responsibility we feel on Ruthless too. I mean, look, it would have been very, very easy for us at certain points over the last couple of years to go along with the prevailing wisdom on the right about what was happening to them that wasn't true. And many of our competitors in the space, and you know who they are, I don't need to say their names, didn't think they needed to do that. And they thought that just continuing to turn the dial all the way to 10 got them better ratings, which it did. But it also left a population that had a absolute vacancy of real information that allowed them to make decisions on everything from politics to how they live their lives. I think it's a damn shame. And I think more people in our line of work ought to take that commitment extremely seriously.
And also, I'd be remiss if I didn't add the fact that a lot of these institutions aren't exactly victims in this process. Many of them are part of the undermining. When you had, the CDC saying that, oh, well, you can catch COVID if you go to your family member's funeral, but not if you're protesting for BLM.
Right.
That's completely fine. Or you had the World Health Organization send out a tweet saying that COVID cannot be transmitted human to human to cover for China, who was their major investor at the time. So I think a lot of this comes from the institutions. I mean, like Duncan says,
no, that's my point, Smug. That's my point. I'm not blaming the people who distrust CDC and DOJ and FBI. They're right. They're right to distrust them. I'm blaming the institutions. What they've crossed, they use that term, they crossed the Rubicon. They have crossed it. And we're over here like the duck with the feet under the water, furiously saying, what happened? How do we get out of this crazy mess? Why are we dealing with 4 indictments and the possibility of defunding DOJ and impeaching a president, just to fight fire with fire? This is where we are. How did we get here? But yes, it's the institutions that got us here. And I have to say that the Democrats running them.
Bingo.
Yeah. In addition to getting us here, one of the other worst things that these institutions do is they don't recognize their problems they've created in the past. So there are plenty of opportunities every single day for a little bit of humility from the CDC, from NIH, honestly, from the FBI. I mean, people are really concerned about 2 systems of justice. How about you acknowledge that? Half of this country is very concerned about that. I had a conversation, I won't use the guy's name, but I had a conversation with a scientist who's very high up in public health. And he acknowledged to me, he was like, we have a lot of shortcomings. We created a lot of problems in the past with the way that we messaged COVID. I mean, he went in a little bit deeper, and I was like, if you just tell people that, just let people know that you recognize that you made mistakes, and here's what we're going to try to do to reel trust back in. We know it's going to take a long time, but at least acknowledge it. And I think that it just makes it so much worse when they act like Randy Weingarten, for example, who bent over backwards to keep all of our kids out of school for an extended period of time. Kids go back to school, and now she's like, what are you talking about? I wanted them to be in the classroom. I've been working for them to be in the class. She is such a liar, and like people are fed that stuff every single, it just compounds the original problem. And it just, there's no humility from the powers.
No, it's like Hillary Clinton in that bite, literally sitting there saying, truth matters. I really just think truth matters. Stop it. Just stop it. Okay? Go back to Chappaqua and enjoy your nice home and your walks in the woods with your weird marriage. Okay? Don't lecture the rest of us on truth. So you may have heard me talk about COVID tax relief now for a while. There might be money available for you and your business right at this moment. It's not a loan. You don't have to pay it back. Listen up. Instead, government funds are already set aside meant to reward companies with 2 or more employees who stayed open during COVID. If you did the tough thing during COVID and you paid your employees during that pandemic, then you might qualify for up to $26,000 per employee at covidtaxrelief.org. The program's complicated, but no one knows more about it than the CPAs and tax experts at covidtaxrelief.org. You pay nothing up front. They do all the work and then share a percentage of the cash they get you. Businesses of all types, including nonprofits and churches, can qualify, even those who took PPP loans, and even if you had increases in your sales. Let covidtaxrelief.org help get you up to $26,000 per employee. Visit covidtaxrelief.org. That's covidtaxrelief.org, covidtaxrelief.org. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.